Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to have videos of the paid requests. This time for Devon. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Heart of Dragon from 1985, which is a Jackie Chan film. Now, apparently this is one of those films that is very polarizing with Jackie Chan fans. And overall, I didn't mind it. I get what it was trying to do. Well, okay, before I go on, it's directed by Sammo Hung, who, of course, I mean, he has directed many other films, including Mr. Nice Guy, also with Jackie Chan. Him and Jackie Chan grew up with each other at the opera school. They worked together in a variety of movies, including was it Wheels on Meals and the Project A films. And Sammo Hung is a star of his own. I love Eastern Condors. Enter the Fat Dragon, that's the name of the film. I liked that one. Love the TV show Martial Law, which I got the DVD right there. It was only on for 2 seasons in America, thanks to the success of Walter Texas Ranger. There's even a crossover where Sammo Hung and Chuck Norris, sadly not in it together too long, but there was a crossover for one episode. I think one or two episodes. But he directs this. He also is a co-star in the film. Jackie Chan's the star. And you tell they want to do something a bit different to show their dramatic chops. To show that they're not just action stars, that they are actors. And it's a very busy time for Jackie Chan because he did a couple movies around this time, including the Police Story came out in 85. I think The Protector came out in 85 as well. This is a lot of Chan films came out in 85, give or take. So, definitely a busy time. He was like the #1 star in Hong Kong at that moment. And number one, if you watch this, don't watch the dubbed version in English because the emotional scenes do not work when it's English dubbed people trying to be big emotional circumstances. And I can appreciate what it's trying to do, but I have the last act is definitely the best part of the film, and that's when the action kicks in. And you're sitting there going, I do appreciate it, but there's that selfish part of me that does just want to see Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung in the action sequences. I mean, I don't think they did a bad job, to be fair, though, in a way, with the dramatic parts. I can appreciate what it's trying to do. So, I would say overall, I did not mind the film. The opening was interesting because it's Jackie Chan and he has a team with him in the woods, and they're all dressed in yellow. And it seems like they're part of a action sequence where there's grenades, there's a machine gun fire, Jackie Chan with a machine gun, which is not a typical thing to see. And he's like taking down this team that looks like a SWAT team. And you get some of that Jackie Chan fighting and choreography, a little bit of humor thrown in there. But ultimately, Jackie Chan's team wins, and you find out it was all part of it's fake, it's all part of training. Which is really strange because you hear the gunfire sounds real. Like it's real gunfire sounds. And they did hit, but there's no paintball. They just fly back. So what hit them? Were there BBs? Paintball that we don't see? You just assume, okay, they didn't, because a lot of the times you don't see in Jackie Chan films people get hit because they're not those kind of movies. You know, Jackie Chan didn't do a whole lot of R-rated films at that time. I'm not saying never, I'm just saying he didn't do a whole lot of them. Well, now that I think about it, Even Police Story PG-13. Yeah, I wanted to double check that. So that was usually the rating he was going for with these movies. But again, within the logic of the film, when people get hit, what hit them? Like they react like they get hit. So again, I don't know if it's BBs or if it was paintball, you would see them, but you don't see them. And of course, you don't show it because they don't want to let you know right then that it's all part of a training sequence where the SWAT team needs to get better, and so Jackie Chan's team is there to try to get them better as the adversaries. So it's just very much there to trick the viewer, even though it makes no logical sense. Unless someone can explain it to me, like why the machine guns sound more real, what were they shot with, all that stuff. But anyway, he gets back home and he has a brother played by Sammo Hung, where a lot of people mock him and call him names like Dodo. More so the kids that hang out with him, and it's like Sammo Hung's character is a mentally challenged person who acts like a little kid. Now you go and say that this is insensitive, that it's being over the top with it, that this is certainly no Rain Man or anything, but I did what they're trying to do. Sammo Hung wanted to show that he had more acting chops, and I don't think Sammo Hung's bad, but there are times where it's like, okay, they're really pushing the fact that he's acting like a kid. So there's a scene, like for example, the kids trick him to go to this place to get food and ice cream, and they won't let us in without an adult. But then all the kids leave him, so he can't pay, so he gets the shit kicked out of him. He hides in the freezer. Jackie Chan comes in, gets him out of the freezer, and the guy almost freezes to death. He has to hold his brother's hand, and he's being laughed at. Sammo Hung's in a tub, and he's like putting his head in, and he puts his ass out. So if you want to see Sammo Hung's ass hanging out for all to see, this is the movie for you. Wasn't It's something I could live my life never seen. I'll put it that way. Or one of the kids gets him to pretend to be their dad to go see the teacher, principal, whoever at school. But then Sam was just repeating what the kid told him and playing with a toy car. Like, there's definitely no nuance to it. There's definitely no subtlety to it. And that's the thing, there is no subtlety to this. But like I said, I can appreciate them trying to do something to show a bit of more of their acting palette. Sammo Hung he doesn't do any action. Apparently the producers said, what did he do a little bit? And granted, Sammo Hung had a logical reason going, well, if I'm mentally challenged, what, all of a sudden I'm going to know Kung Fu? That's not going to make sense. I'm like, well, Sammo's got a point, unless you say he's autistic and then, I don't know, I don't know. With a strip, there's always reason to go in, no matter how ridiculous it is. But I get Sammo Hung's thinking on it. And Jackie Chan wants to be a sailor. He wants to live his dream. His buddies are calling him out like, "Oh, you're being selfish. You should love your brother and take care of him." But Jackie's like, "Well, I want to go out and be a sailor, and I'm tired of doing this. And I'm telling you, you're getting mad at me." Talking to Sammo Hung, "You getting mad at me? You're doing all this. Well, I'm feeding you, I'm caring for you. Sometimes I think I should just strangle you and hang myself." So Sammo Hung cries, and then he tries to get a job, but then he gets a job, but he's bullied into eating off the floor because he doesn't know better. And one of Jackie Chan's buddies sees this and gets Sammo out of it. And the guy yells at Jackie, and Sammo says, "Oh, Jackie, don't cry." And then he cries, and they hug. It's very big in terms of the drama. It's very big. It's very over dramatic, over sentimental, with the music and the big broad faces. You like these quick moves. It's like more performance art, opera, theatrical. That's what it is. It's more theatrical than nuanced and subtle. I think that's a lot of the thing with the drama here is he's a lot more theatrical. Especially if you watch with the English dubbing, so it comes off a bit. The emotional parts of it don't work 100%. I guess if you watch it with the subtitles version, it'll work a little bit better. So yeah, I do see a lot of people, understandably so, not really jiving with the first half of the movie. But again, I get. That's it. I appreciate what they're trying to do. I do. There's some decent moments of acting. I didn't like Jackie Chan like snapping, breaking down, and Sammo. To be blunt and honest, people don't go see Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung for their acting. They like their acting in terms of being natural in the action environment as their characters, being either a nice guy or a noble guy or a badass guy or a fighter, and they have charm, charisma, and the humor. So the action and humor are their forte. They are the things that people see their movies for, look towards the most for them. But at the same time, it's fine for an actor star to try to be. Jean-Claude Van Damme did it well in films like Weight of Death and even parts of Replicant and other movies. JCVD. Stolen, of course. Copland and the Rocky films and even Lockup. I See You. And yeah, it's just that with Sammo Hung, like I said, it's a bit too. Again, there's not a lot of subtlety to it. He really is just an overgrown 8-year-old kid. I just use it. Well, what's the problem? I don't know. I don't know if it's really a problem. It's just when he's acting this way, and then he gets the shit kicked out of him all the time, brutally. Just hey, Sammo Hung, he did do the stunts. So you see a guy who's mentally handicapped, and he just punched, kicked, beaten. At one point, throw down this hill. He goes for like a minute going down this hill. You just, it's just, of course, you meant to feel bad, but it's like Jesus, okay. Obviously, there's never a point where he gets a comeback on it. And it's not the best meshing when it's like the first half, there's very little action. That's another thing, is if you go in as expecting an action movie, other than the little opening, you're not really getting much action. I guess there's another cut, I forget where it was released, that they had 2 more fight scenes. Jackie Chan fighting people in the hospital. I think fighting people in maybe not a playground, but I forget where. And that was only in that specific cut in like Japan or somewhere. I can't remember. But in China and the U.S., it's mostly this with, again, little action in the first half. So it's not the bread and butter of Jackie Chan in terms of wall-to-wall action and humor and stuff. So it's not going to satisfy everybody. And so yeah, it's very like dramatic, the portions of the first half, and then all of a sudden, boom, here's this briefcase with a lot of money, and it gets stolen, and Sammo accidentally comes across and gets the suitcase with the stolen loot. He's promised by one of the kids to not tell anybody. Someone finds it, kicks him down a hill. They kind of grab him and the kid, and I think it's one of the kid's father being a dick and turn on them, but then he gets fucked up a bit too. I think he gets shot too, because the asshole deserved it. And then the bad guys. There's a guy they want, so they don't take Sammo Hung as hostage. But Jackie Chan finds them, so they knock him out. And they don't kill him for some reason. I guess you give us the, we're going to give you the message so you to bring this guy for this trade. But then when the bad guys get to their hideout, they're asking Sammo Hung, where's your brother? And I'm sitting there going, you just left him, you knocked him out over there. Why you mean, where's his brother? You just had Jackie Chan, you knocked him the fuck out. Then the next scene, you're at your hideout in this construction site, and you're like, where's your brother? His brother's there that you knocked out. Why did you knock him out and leave him there? Then we go back and ask, where's your brother? Sammo Hung, where's your brother? He'll come for me. We're counting on it. Which, I mean, I don't know. It was very strange. Maybe I missed something, and if so, I apologize, blame it on me. But I was just confused by that. Ultimately, Jackie Chan's like, you know what? We're told not to deal with this, but my brother's life was on the line. His buddies, his team decided to help, even though it's against what their officials and their captains say. There is before that, a car chase where Jackie Chan's driving a yellow car, where the motorcycle SWAT team are after him because they know he's going to try to go against the law to try to save his brother. So they try to stop Jackie. It's a decent car chase. Pretty much kind of more maneuvering, going up on this catwalk, maneuvering down the stairs. Pretty much jumping on this thing to jump over to here so the motorcycles can't follow. It's alright. I mean, there's a lot of other Jackie Chan films that have crazier sequences of that nature. The Police Story movies, for example. So it's okay. One or two decent stunts during it. I will say easily the best part that does make the film worth a watch, at the very least for the finale. Where it takes place at a construction site, where Jackie Chan's buddies are taking care of the bad guys, and they get their moments to shine. And then for a while you're thinking, well, damn, is Jackie Chan doing anything? Like, the first chunk of this battle of this construction site is kind of his buddies doing this stuff and fighting, and I'm like, where's Jackie? Then Jackie does get his moments to shine. It's a bit more brutal than usual for Jackie. A bit more of that brutal fighting you see in the first Police Story film, in the finale of that. We see Jackie much more angry, much more assertive with his punches. A lot less of using the environment and being creative on that front. Much more assertive. Which was cool to see. I guess with Sammo Hung directing, there's a little bit difference to the Jackie action. Like, Jackie has a gun, and there's spoilers. But I do recommend seeing the film for this finale, because it's very cool. But spoilers. There's a guy with like a shovel, and Jackie just shoots him. Which seems like in a regular Jackie Chan film that wouldn't happen. That'd be too mean, but it's like, hey, got a gun, shoots the guy. Sorry, shouldn't have brought a shovel to a gunfight. What did I tell you, buddy? He's fighting people with 2x4. He gets a guy's machete and hits him in the neck. Kills a guy in the neck with a machete. It's not vibrant like Friday the 13th because it's still, with the rating. They can't show too much, but yeah, more violent than I thought it would be. He fights a guy who has a pickaxe. Sadly, not a long fight because it cuts away. But there's a bit where a bunch of guys gets around him and he's fighting them. Very crisp, very fast, nice choreography. Takes a guy's like a long crowbar, beats the shit out of them, even stabs one guy with it. There's a guy he fights, really good snappy back and forth, going very fast, very speedy. Gets some nice moves, drop kicks the guy into these bricks. I mean, it's not the police story movies, the first four, but it's a pretty good finale. It has some really nice Jackie Chan fighting, choreography, action. You get some nice stunt work. Some of his buddies grab some grenades, throw it, and you see this crazy wide shot where these 8 stunt people are blown out of the building, and you see they fall quite a ways. About 8 or so people, which are the bad guys. These stunt people fall, and Sammo made sure to have the wide shot to show just how dangerous this is, and I'm sure they all went to the hospital right after it. It was weird though, like during this whole thing, the movie never goes back to Sammo Hung and what he's doing during this. And I know he can't be a kung fu guy, but I think at least if he was tied to a chair, maybe have something goofy where he's tied to the chair, but he's like accidentally hurting people where he maybe swings and hits a guy with a chair. He falls back, but then does a bat flip. But when he's in a chair doing a bat flip, it goes over and the lights hit a guy in the face. He's maneuvering, is hitting people, and he's kind of doing it accidentally, frenzy, but he still did some nice choreography. Like I said, it never goes back to Sammo Hung, which I thought was weird. Until everything's over, and then you just see Jackie Chan holding Sammo Hung's hand. I mean, I don't even know where Sammo Hung was for this entire fight sequence, action sequence. Didn't even know where he was. Was he in the basement? Was he in the bathroom? Was he tied to a bathtub? Well, where the hell was he? And of course, they get arrested. Jackie Chan's in jail, among his as long as with his buddies. You have this montage where he's in jail and very glum, very sad, while his brother's out there happy, enjoying his life. To be honest, it made me feel bad for Jackie Chan going, this fucking guy. Jackie Chan saved your life. You stupidly got yourself in this situation with this suitcase, this briefcase. You didn't tell Jackie because of a stupid promise. You got yourself caught. Jackie saved your ass, risked his life, risked his career, risked everything. Is now in jail for you. And there's not even moments it shows of Sammo being sad, or looking at a picture of his brother, or wondering, hey, seeing his brother in jail, if they allow that in Hong Kong, I don't know. Anything. He just enjoying his ice cream, enjoying his food, da 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 da. And then the last shot was Jackie Chan and Sammo holding hands going down the road. Which I honestly didn't know if that was a dream Jackie Chan had, or that's to signify this is when he got out of jail. Which I think would have been better if you actually see him get out of a jail, and maybe, there's nobody there, but then Sammo's there, and he's excited and hugs him, and maybe picks him up, and he's like, okay, yeah, I missed you too, man. Like, there's never that, and there's no dialogue between the two. You think there'd be, like, for a movie that's what I'm talking about. For a movie that's trying to be so emotional of a movie, there's no finality to that. There's no Rain Man. The scene where I like that I have you as my brother. And you see Dustin Hoffman go like, the guy who doesn't want to be touched, he finally allows himself, from here to finally trust the guy. To put his head right next to a guy that didn't like contact. There are no moments like that for the finality. So the payoff emotionally is very distant, lackluster, and it kind of shows that I don't think Sammo Hung is the best guy in hefty, dramatic, emotional elements of filmmaking. Which, because he's so used to doing the action and humor. That's his bread and butter. That's what he was focused on. That's what his pride and joy is. Same with Jackie Chan, and that's where they're the best at. And again, Jackie didn't direct this. It was Sammo Hung, so that's why I'm putting more on Sammo Hung since he made the movie. But again, the fact that, like I said, I had to take me a minute to figure out of whether Jackie Chan got out of jail or not. Instead of just have him get out of jail and he's outside the jail, and or have someone be sad and he misses his brother, then he sees his brother, oh my god, conversation. There's none of that, which I thought was weird. It would have been great if Sammo Hung made him a boat and made him a sailor cap. And maybe a final scene where Jackie's watching him in the pool, and he's a sailor, but for his brother, or so I don't know. Maybe they do go out on a boat just for a little vacation or something. He'll be a sailor for his brother for a little bit on this dingy boat, or some kind of payoff, emotional payoff. It doesn't really have that. So there's not much. There's really not much action in the first half. There's some really good action in the third act that makes it worthwhile to watch. I can appreciate the emotional aspects they're trying to dictate to the audience. Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, but I think Sammo Hung is playing a bit too broad. Not much subtlety. Jackie is mainly kind of annoyed, and you can kind of understand his annoyance with the way Sammo Hung acts. But I mean, there are moments like when Jackie realizes this teacher he hired just belittles Sammo Hung and says, "You're stupid. You're never going to get better. I'm just going to prolong this to get paid and get something out of it." And Jackie Chan pretty much grabs the guy, "Here, take the money and leave." And like tries to comfort Sammo. Like, that's a decent scene. So there are moments like that. But I wouldn't say this would be in my top 10 or top 20 Jackie Chan films. But I don't think it was bad either. Like I said, I think for some it could be, oh, this is a different change of pace. You get some nice fight action moments in the third act. But I don't know if I would ever. Maybe on YouTube I would check out the finale again. I don't know if I would ever watch the entire movie again. But I don't think it was bad or anything either. So, but I do think there are some issues with it. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.